Right, Mark. So I want to look at one of the finest pieces of guitar work, in my opinion, ever put to tape, and that's Parisienne Walkways, right? So in this video, we've been talking about phrasing a good bit. So in this video, I want to talk about lead, but not really phrasing as much as expression, right? So first thing we're going to do is learn the scale that this is based off. It's just the A natural minor scale, which goes into the A harmonic minor scale towards the end of the piece. So when I'm talking about expression, just exactly how are we playing the notes, right? Because Gary Moore is the guitar player in question here, so he has his way of doing it. Now, when it comes to bringing drama into lead, off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody better than he was. But we're just going to look at because the notes themselves are pretty easy. This is a fairly simple melody. It's just kind of starting at one point in the scale and basically just going down each time. So obviously have a listen to just the first the intro of the piece before continuing on with this. Just get it on Spotify or YouTube or whatever. Parisienne Walkways. So first of all, the scale is the A harmonic, the A natural minor scale, and it's going to switch to the A harmonic minor scale. I'll show you what the difference is, right? So we already know, I'm pretty sure, this one. So we start off on an A here. So just on the off chance, I'm pretty sure we have done this, but just on the off chance that we haven't, this is the first one we're going to do, right? So this starts on the 6th string with the root note here, right? So we've got E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. Back a fret on the G string. Okay, so starting on the A, on the 5th fret every time, you're going up 2, then 1. Same again, 2, then 1. Just 2 on the D string. Back a fret on the G string, and then up 1, then 2. Back up a fret on the B string, same again, up 1, then 2. And then up 2, then 1 on the E string. Okay. So we're gonna do that scale now, but in a different position, right? So that's kind of this version of the scale revolves around the E minor shape. So there's A minor in the form of an E minor, and it comes right out of that position. So now if you're going to do it an A minor in the shape of an A minor, not down here, but up 12 frets, this is the one we're doing. Starting on the A string, we're going up 2, then 1. Same again, just 2, then up 1, then 2. At no point are we dropping back below the 12th fret here, and then up 1, then 2. And just to finish on an A, you may as well, or go up another 2. Okay, so again, that is just up 2 on the G string, up 1, then 2, up 1, then 2. Okay, so that's the one we're going to be basing this off. Okay, so first phrase. All right. So first off, you have a nice big bend. That's the 4th. So let's say this is an A note in the key of A. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 being bent up to 5. Now, first off, if you listen to the way he does the vibrato on that, it's just unbelievable. I definitely can't do it that way myself. It's really heavy, really fast. Now, vibrato in general does not have to be fast, but it does have to be consistent, right? So if I were to do something like that, it'd sound like this. Now, when I'm doing that, it's not this. It's this, okay? It's more in the wrist than in the fingers. The fingers are really just kind of holding the string. So we come in. So you bend the note. That was another thing Gary Moore was known for, by the way, his ability to hold and sustain notes and just to get them to feed back perfectly. Not an easy thing to do, but there it is there. And so on, but see if you can get your amp to speak to the guitar like that. It's not easy. So, but anyway, we're coming in. Gonna bring the note up to pitch with the bend and then push, 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 push with a little turn. This is not easy to get right. This takes a long time to really kind of get the guitar to sing, to get that note up there, keep it there, and rattle it just right. Really, really difficult. So there's a particular way you got to grip the string. Now you can feel this more than anything else, right? But you can't be too flat fingered, otherwise that will happen. It'll just fall out from underneath your fingers. So get up on it, very tip of your finger, and then that way you've got more room to push. Okay, up like that. And obviously you almost never bend with just one finger, so I'm getting 3 behind it here. Get the thumb up around it as well, because remember, a lot of distortion here. If you don't want to hear a string, you need to be touching it, right? So I've got my fingers flat down, taking care of the first string. My thumb is more or less, at least, keeping those ones out of it as well. So then next we've got a staccato note down here. So it's not, it's that. So now with a staccato note you want a dead stop, right? So we're kind of coming in, hitting that note, doing 2 things to stop it, right? We're taking the weight off the finger, but as well as that, getting the right hand on it. So that way it's a more definitive stop. So loads of vibrato here. Now, vibrato, you can do that 2 ways mostly, right? You can do the kind of the hand of a clock thing where we're actually bending the string. And again, it's not this, it's this, right? So can I have a nice slant on your finger so that this part of your hand is right up against the neck, so that has nowhere to go. So when you turn your wrist, the only thing that can happen is the string bending. Now, you can bend the string down and back to its initial position. You can go up and back to its initial position, but not both. I'll show you what that sounds. Yeah, just sounds wobbly, right? So, nice bit of vibrato on that. You know, and here you can do a little glissando down. You know, more drama. And just a quick little kind of hammer on in trad, they call this a grace note. Staccato note. And you hear the way there's a bit of distortion on that bend, so what I'm doing there is kind of sort of, and again, this is subtle, you can have to try this a few times to get it to sound right, but kind of sort of getting another string in there just to ring with the string to interfere with it and get that kind of screaming texture. Didn't get it there. Got it too much there. That's just right. So we're coming in. Again. Little slide up here. Staccato. So we're going 12 on the G, 12 on the E, D, sorry. And sliding up, down, up, right? Now we don't want to hop over because that's not smooth. There's going to be a gap, right? So. And then he goes, it's not, it's. And then a slight little slide coming up to the 13th fret. Then we've got, you can do this one with one finger. But if the one finger doesn't allow you to really rattle it and control it the way you need to, then use more, okay? Then a really dramatic. You can listen to the way he does that pull off. He does it with, you know, a real kind of anger to it, right? You know, it really kind of almost spits out of the guitar. And another thing you might hear as well is that he's kind of when I'm gently touching this E string underneath the B string, I've got that harmonic there, right? You hear it coming in there along with this C note here, 13th fret on the B string. That kind of adds to the grit of it as well. And then, now remember I was saying this goes into the harmonic minor scale, so that's what's happening now on this last phrase, because the chord going underneath it is an E major, right? Now, if I do the A minor scale down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's the normal 7th in the natural minor scale. So that would go with an E minor because there's that open G note, well, or any G note in an E minor. But if I switch that to a major, what am I doing to the overall key, the A minor scale? How is the A minor scale changing to accommodate that E major with the G sharp as opposed to the G? We're sharpening the 7th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This 7th. Now, and we're not playing both, by the way, we're replacing it all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is the same note as 1, so we'll count from 1 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that's the harmonic minor scale. So up here then it's going to look like this. Up 2 then 1, up 2 then 1, starting off on the 13th fret. There's our sharp 7th. So okay. So the last phrase is this. There's our sharp 7th. Hit it and hit it and kill it straight away. And then we can kind of leave the shape of the scale here. Just come down here so it's a little bit smoother instead of just starting on a new string like that. Oh, and by the way, the couple of notes before and after this section are the top notes on your pentatonic scale, first position A minor. So that's, whoops, take 2. Okay. And again, even those slides are not easy to come across right. So like, for example, we don't want to hear the last note that you're landed on, so you want to kill the string before you stop sliding. To get that feeling about it. So listen to yourself playing it and then listen to Gary Moore playing it. Doesn't feel good. So what I'm saying is, the melody is very simple here. You're a few bends going down the scale, not particularly fast, but getting it to sound right, getting it to sound like you're singing dramatically with the guitar, that's what's really hard about it. So all those little things I was talking about exactly how you play the notes, I want you to really think about those. So learn it, it won't take you long to learn it. Send you on the tabs as well. Yeah, so listen to yourself while you're playing it and get that vibrato right. It takes a long time, as I said, to hold those notes up like that and shake them the way they do. Slash did that really well. Gary Moore did it a million times better. I don't think there's anybody better at that particular aspect of playing than Gary Moore was. So, expression, drama. How are you? Is this a pull off or is it just a normal note? If so, why? What difference does that make? Because it does make a difference. Allowing those other little notes in addition to the main note creep in to add some distortion and grit and get it drama, get it, shake those big notes, those vibrato notes, get them really shaken and make that vibrato consistent. Don't worry about speed just yet, just get that consistent wobble. And if you're not sure exactly how to do it, just slow it down and really exaggerate it like this. Like that, just to really figure out the mechanic of it. When you do vibrato, you can do it however you want. So there's the bendy way, like this, or you can just get a finger, preferably more than one finger on it. So what we're doing there is getting a strong grip of the string and just rolling your fingers back and forward on it, okay? So, not really an option on a bend, so really work on that bend vibrato and all those other little things. And remember, if you want to get aggressive with the right hand, which you absolutely should on something like this, you need to be very tidy with the left hand, okay? If I want to just bang, hit a note like that, I've got to cover it, because if I don't, that happens, right? So 3 main things that you can do to tidy up on that is, number 1, flat fingers down here, right? So if I want this note and I want to just get the extra attack off all those other strings, I'm going to mute them like that, flat finger. These ones up here, get the thumb around there. And as well as that, as you're coming down the scale, It's hard to see, but what I'm doing is, as soon as I move on to the next string, my hand is going on the previous string to mute it. Okay, so all right, so have a think about all that, and let me see you play it next time. So as I said, very easy to play, extremely difficult to play well, and that's what this is about. So see you get on with it. Talk to you then.